Welcome to The Savage Truth with Cicely Davis. I am your host, Cicely Davis.
Welcome back with your Savage Truth-telling selves. It's your girl, Cicely Davis, here to divvy up another round of truth, savage truth, that is. As always, I'd like to extend a warm and genuine welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. Thank you so very much for deciding to tune in. Please come on back next time and bring somebody with you. Tell somebody, tell one person, tell 10. Bring them on back. I'm happy to have them. I appreciate you and thank you for keeping the Savage Truth going. For those of you who are my ride and dies, the loyalists who keep coming back week after week after week, it's been great. For everyone, friends, new and old, my ask is always the same. Please, please, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube as we get into this week's happenings. So let me start on a different note, okay? I always usually start out the same way. We're going to take a little dip. We're going to just kind of deviate a little bit. So I was off, like so many of you, to a bad start. Off to a bad start to the 2024 Olympics with the disgraceful and ugly opening ceremony. Now, I'm not saying the entire thing was, but, you know, the whole Last Supper thing just really threw me off. It just gave me a really sour taste in my mouth, and it just really made me question if I wanted to go forward it. But I got over it because I'm so into the gymnastics and the swimming and the shot put and track and field categories. Those are my favorites. Those are my top categories. I like diving as well. Noah Lyles, track and field superstar, 100-meter and 200-meter sensation, gave me a lot of joy this past Saturday afternoon, winning the 100-meter run. I mean, the first American to do so in 20 years, 2 decades. Carl Johnson, of course, was the last American to achieve that accomplishment for our country. Of course, we fared well in the gymnastics and swimming, but I was doing some research for the Olympics and came across something that just absolutely blew my mind. And that was the pay you get for medaling, gold medaling in particular in the Olympics. Silver and bronze get medals as money as well. But it's just really blew my mind what they get paid to go to get a gold medal in all countries. And I believe it or not, America is not the highest payer for gold medal achievement. So according to en.as.com, and this is as of Saturday, by the way, this past Saturday, China had the most gold medals, 16, 12 silver, 9 bronze, for a total of 37 medals. Now, while I'm recording this, we're actually tied. We might have actually surpassed them. The U.S., again, as of Saturday, though, had 14 gold, 24 silver medals, and 23 bronze for a total of 61 medals total. And France, on home turf in Paris, has 12 gold, 14 silver, and 15 bronze for a total of 41 medals. But the amount that these countries pay for medaling is something altogether different. Now, it's important to note that the International Olympic Committee, and thereby the Olympics, does not pay Olympians who medal. Okay, let me make that distinction. We need to really understand that. Other Olympic committees can pay their athletes, however. The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, the USOPC, for example, is paying athletes $37,500 for every gold medal they earn. Those earning silver get $22,500, while those earning a bronze get $15,000. Now, compared to other participating countries, that's relatively low, honestly. According to an analysis by the CNBC, the host country of France is paying its gold medalists 80,000 euros, or about 86,500. Gold medalists from neighboring Spain are paid roughly $102,000. Topping out the list is Hong Kong, which is paying its gold medalists about $768,000, slightly more than Singapore's $745,000. Okay, so it pays to gold medal in those countries. On the opposite end, we're Germany at $22,000, Australia $13,000. Okay, I'll take any one of those. Other countries may offer apartments and cars and free lifetime public transit access to its winning Olympians, and track and field gold medalists have a chance at even more for some reason. So earlier this year, World Athletics, which is the governing body for the track and field, announced that there would be a first of its kind $50,000 cash prize available for all of track and field gold medal winners in Paris. That's a prize pool of $2.4 million spread across 48 events. But not every athlete is in line for lucrative financial influxes from the Olympics. Maggie Steffens, who's the captain of the U.S. women's water polo team, commented, and she said this: "Some may not know this, but most Olympians need a second or third job to support chasing their dream, myself included. And most teams rely on sponsors for travel, accommodations, nutritional support, rent and lodging, and simply to afford to live in this day and age, especially female sports and female athletes." Now, that was a post by Steffens, and that post caught the attention of Flavor Flav, a founding member of the hip-hop group Public Enemy. Yeah, boy! I don't know if you guys remember that. Does that sound familiar to any of you? I guess you'd have to have been around in the 80s, okay, and under really kind of paying attention to hip-hop and rap music at that time. But he's also famous for slapping Brigitte Nielsen across the face in the early 2000s when he had the spin-off show called Flavor of Love. And supposedly Flavor Flav and Brigitte were a couple, and she slapped him, and he slapped her back with the quickness and really hard. So that made all kinds of headlines. I don't know. Well, this is the guy, the rapper, that he wears the big clock around his neck. Okay, that's who I'm referring to. Well, he has since become the official hype man for the USA Waters Polo. Apparently, he's fresh off his efforts to save the floundering Red Lobster as well. He has also made an undisclosed financial contribution to the women's program as part of this 5-year agreement. And he also agreed to collaborate on social media to help bring attention to the sport. That apparently not the only payout assistance on behalf of Flavor Flav. Now, he and Alexis Ohanian, who is the husband of retired tennis superstar sensation Serena Williams, joined Flavor Flav in helping another Olympic athlete. When you're an Olympian getting ready to compete in your first Olympic Games, the last thing you want to worry about is rent, okay? Luckily, for U.S. track and field athlete Veronica Fraley, she won't have to, thanks to some high-profile fans, i.e. Flavor Flav and Alexis Ohanian. Fraley said on social media on Thursday that even though she is set to make her Olympic debut on Friday in the women's discus, she can't pay rent. She couldn't pay rent, and that was sent from her school. Vanderbilt had only sent 75% of the rent that was due, and she posted on X, and I quote, "I compete in the Olympic Games tomorrow and can't even pay my rent. My school only sent about 75% of my rent, while they pay football players who haven't won anything enough to buy new cars and houses." Now, Flavor Flav posted, he saw that, and he immediately posted once he got that. He said, "I got you," and I quote this, okay? "I got you. DM me and I'll send payment today so you don't have to worry about it tomorrow. And I'm going to be rooting for you tomorrow. Let's go." Okay, and this is, again, a response from Flavor Flav. Now, the post quickly gained attention on social media, and it wasn't long until Public Enemy co-founder stepped up to the plate. He said, "I got you." You heard that. So Ohanian then joined in the group. He says, "Come on now, I'll split it with Flavor Flav." Now, after saying he'd split the funding with Flavor Flav, Ohanian posted a screenshot from Venmo that showed he sent Fraley $7,760, paying her rent for the entire year, saying that he's man of his word. Flavor Flav said, "I'm a man of my word," and posted a screenshot. He posted a screenshot indicating a payment that went directly to Fraley. Representatives for Flavor Flav confirmed to NBC News he sent money to Fraley absolutely. On Thursday evening, Flavor Flav said on social media he had paid for Fraley's rent for the month and that Ohanian covered her rent for the rest of the year. Wow. A GoFundMe is set up for Fraley, and it has already received more than $8,000 as of Thursday night. Fraley, who won the 2024 NCAA Discus Championship with Vanderbilt, said her frustrations aren't with the university. Okay. She's not upset with the school, but mainly the rules that bar her from making the amount she's worth. She said, I'm upset about the rules that bar me from making the amount I'm worth as a college athlete, such as NIL, which favors popularity over performance. She is grateful for what Ohanian and Flavor Flav did for her. Obviously, that's incredible. I love hearing those kind of stories. She says, this makes every difference in the world, and I hope to represent Team USA well this week, she said. Ohanian and Flavor Flav have become big advocates for women's sports, and that hasn't slowed down at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Ohanian invests in women's track and will host an invitational this fall, and Flavor Flav is official. Like I said, he's the official hype man for the U.S. water polo squads, as he is a sponsor for the women's team. And it's really great to hear and see celebrities actually use their platforms to uplift Americans. They just need to stay out of the political realm. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know what? You use it here and there to help someone. That's okay. You know, just stay neutral, but stay out of the political realm because you don't know what you're doing. This is what makes their celebrities, to me, this is what makes them more tolerable. Using their platform to make possible the opportunities for talented American athletes that represent America on the world stage is more of what people like to see, I think. It sends a powerful message of unity and just this overall will to win. And for the large Olympic audience, that is a powerful and savage moment of Americanism that I personally am enjoying and have liked to see. Now, moving on, Donald Trump is on top and calling the shots, rightfully so. You know, I think the Dems have become accustomed to Republicans just taking what they dish out. I mean, we see it all the time, okay? It's been that way. It was that way for the Obama administration. We've had Dems and moderates. We've had Democrats moderate our debates, okay? They don't have us moderating theirs, but we got Democrats moderating our debates on Democratic networks. We've allowed political, partisan, controversially charged questioning without answering back or charging back, and just kind of laying down. For example, Trump last week, when I talked about him at the NABJ, while Biden gets questions sent ahead of time, okay, with softball questions. He gets a script, he gets earplugs, and a media personnel chosen for him, as pointed out by his own slip-up when he's reading the teleprompter and his meeting notes. You know, when he's reading a speech and at the end, I'm supposed to go to MSNBC, Bob Jones for the next question. Seriously? But Trump, as usual, and rightfully, flipped the script on the debate question and this controversy. Trump said in Truth Social, his platform, that he previously scheduled presidential debate to be hosted by ABC News. It was terminated once President Biden dropped out of the race. Who can't agree to that? I mean, that sounds reasonable to me. Yes. So let's just talk about this a little bit. The former president, soon to be number 47, bring it on, declared late on Friday that he was dropping out of an ABC News debate scheduled for September 10th and presented a counterproposal to Vice President Kamala Harris, his presumptive opponent, to face off on Fox News 6 days earlier. Okay. The change, which Mr. Trump announced on his social media site, Truth Social, raised objections from the Harris campaign, of course, and appeared to throw a potential showdown between the rivals into question. Now, this is where all the controversy is coming in, where she's making side comments that Donald Trump is afraid to face her in a debate. It's almost laughable. I can barely get that out. But this is where all that controversy is coming from. So a campaign official for Kamala Harris on Saturday accused Donald Trump of scheming up the Fox News debate to distract from reneging on his commitment to the ABC debate. This is what they're accusing him of. They're accusing him of reneging on the previously agreed debate. Donald Trump had agreed to that debate in May, okay? In May, to go against Joe Biden before President Biden dropped out of the race and before Joe Biden's calamitous performance in a CNN debate on June 27th, which we all witnessed, okay? Reneging on his comment. Are you kidding me? As if he signed a contract with them, as if he signed it in blood, like he made a blood oath or something. So Michael Tyler, this is the Kamala's campaign communications director, decided to speak out the side of his neck, and I quote, "Donald Trump is running scared and trying to back out of the debate he already agreed to and running straight to Fox News to bail him out." Now, again, we're supposed to just lay down and have all our debates moderated by Democrats on Democrat networks, right? Where they give all the advantage to Democrats, give them the questions ahead of time, give them a mic, give them softball questions. We're supposed to just lay down and take that? No, this is why I love Donald Trump, because it's just us fighting again, realizing that we don't have to lay down and just take what they ditch out, right? We don't have to eat the garbage. And he continues on. He needs to stop playing games and show up to the debate he already committed to on September 10th, again, with Joe Biden. So one of my biggest triggers is when someone tells me what I need to do. You want to really get me going? Say, Cicely needs to do this or Cicely needs to do that. I'm telling you, that is a trigger for me. Trump doesn't need to do anything according to Kamala Harris's terms, according to Democratic terms. America doesn't need to do anything as per instructed or dictated by the Democratic Party. Dems, hear this and hear me good. You're not running the show. You're not in charge. And you're not anyone's boss. We've had you in leadership for the last 3.5 years. And as a result, we are nearly bankrupt. We are less safe. We're poorer. We're stressed and we're strained. So kick rocks on that whole deal. Okay. We don't need to do anything according to what you say. Tyler said that Harris's campaign was open to discussion and discuss further debates if Donald Trump honored his commitment to the ABC debate. So the whole reason why they're shaking in their boots and why they're so upset that Donald Trump moved the date was that they had this already prepared because the softball questions were already being sent and set up because Kamala absolutely cannot, will not, and does not want to have to answer the tough questions about her past career, about her political climb to where she got in, about her support and advocacy for Joe Biden's terrible policies and the state that they have left this country. Okay. So they're all upset about it because 3-4 days ahead, 3-4 days early, 3-4 days later, what difference does it make? A debate's a debate. I mean, if you are the girl, if you got this, what difference does it make? Where's it anywhere, anytime? That's the kind of president that I love. And let me apply some truth here, if I may. Again, the Harris campaign, the Harris camp is not calling the shots. We're not acquiescing to their demands. We have been subject to the Biden-Harris way for 3.5 years and not at all liking the results. I think that running these debates on Dem networks has been a mistake. I truly do. Because if you really think about it, think about, for right now, for those of you who are watching this, if you're brand new to politics, it's really, I really have you in mind. Most people who are watching this and listening to political podcasts and political programming, we're really tuned in. So we're smart enough to, watch Fox, watch CNBC, MSNBC, and compare notes, right? We're really tuned in. But if you're not tuned into politics, if you're not someone who is acclimated to politics and you listen to it or watch it here and there, we have to really think about what the message is, the vision and the message that they're getting, right? They don't know about Iran and why it's a problem, right? They're seeing Kamala go viral, and that's supposed to be a big deal. They're not, able to really discern about what's really going on. So it's been an issue, in my opinion, to have allowed Republican candidates to unfairly allow Democrats to run the show with regards to debates. Dem networks have been a mistake, at least not for putting up a fight. I think that Republicans have really made a mistake there by not putting up a fight, allowing for Democrats to control the conversation, apply terrible, horrible, and outright detrimental policies to go unanswered has been an atrocity of the landscape for far too long. And for the record, being on Fox, but allowing Dem hosts will not suffice either, right? So having it on the Fox network, but then allowing Democrat moderators, not going for that either. And I think I think they've already said it was going to be Martha McCallum and someone else. I'm not sure, but I'm glad to hear that. I think this is what is so compelling and satisfying about Donald Trump. He doesn't acquiesce to the Democratic Party. To hell with what they propose or wrote in their papers or online or post on their DMs and media feeds or say amongst these political corrupt hacks called journalists, who are really what? What are they really? They're really just Democrat activists who care about what they say. Who cares? Who cares what they propose? Who cares what they demand? Not your ballpark. It's not your rules. I think that's the message that we need to drive through. But I digress, okay, because I can get off on a tangent here. Tyler said, and he continues, Mr. Anytime, Anywhere, Anyplace should have no problem with that unless he's too scared to show up on the 10th. Okay, so he's trying to use some childish reverse psychology here. But the bottom line is Donald Trump agreed to debate Joe Biden, okay, not Kiki Harris, right? So he gets to make those demands, and I fully support him on this stance. The 10th, the 3rd, the 1st, who cares? The bottom line is here is that Trump is not going for them demanding how this competition will play out. And I think the Dems clearly are not accustomed to having their way. That's obvious. A spokeswoman for ABC News would not say whether the network would go ahead with this debate and give time to Kamala Harris in a post on Saturday. And this is what Kamala Harris said. I'll be there on September 10th, like he agreed to. I hope to see him there. Now, savages, don't believe the hype. The Harris team was banking on Kamala getting softball questions, like I said. They were banking on getting the questions ahead of time. They were banking on ABC not bringing up her past, her approval of Build Back Broker, her border czar performance and stance on the border, her take on the climate, school choice, the economy, okay? When she and Joe Biden said the interest rates and inflation was temporary, right? Remember that? And that the Inflation Reduction Act has only proved to increase inflation, which, by the way, is at the highest it's ever been this past weekend. Her take on crime, while she considers Tim Walz, the governor here in Minnesota, as a final contender to be vice president. I mean, they totally deserve each other. As he is responsible for, think about who Tim Walz is, everyone. Let me remind you, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, where I am, is responsible for setting this whole country ablaze, being slow to respond and act to defuse the George Floyd riots here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, being responsible for the chaos and mayhem across the country in 2020, as Kamala, she paid to release and bail out criminals who were vandalizing and terrorizing and ravaging the country, attacking police officers and first responders and other citizens who were attempting to do what? Protect their businesses, their properties and statues and the American flag and cities in which they live. Now, a spokesperson for Trump campaign did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Saturday. There's nothing more to be said. He already said, this is the date I'm agreeing to on Fox. There's nothing more to be said. Representatives for Fox News did not respond to questions either. And they shouldn't. It's been said. They need to either agree or you don't get a debate. But regardless if she debates or not, we know her record. And if you are someone who has political knowledge, you need to let those who are not politically inclined, those who do not pay a whole lot of attention to politics, you need to let them know, educate them on Kamala Harris's past. Remind them that she was the #1 advocate for Joe Biden's policies. Remind them that if they're paying more per bag of groceries and how much they're paying at the pump, that's all because of Kamala and Joe. Remind them. We need to shut down this entitled expectation of the Democratic Party. Now, keep in mind that Trump has repeatedly railed against ABC News, which he is suing for defamation. Okay, it's another reason why he's not okay with just running over and wrapping up in the so-called embrace of ABC. And this is just a case that the federal judge in Florida recently allowed to move forward. Now, to no surprise to me, the New York Times writers Neil Vigdor, Maggie Haberman, and Simon J. Levian wrote these comments. Okay, this is what I read. And it's not just them, it's a lot of other media outlets. Now, this alerts you to the delusion of the Democratic Party, the perspective of the Marxist activist media. Listen to this, and I quote, Mr. Trump has appeared to be struggling to find his footing since Mr. Biden has left the race, despite the fact that Democrats have been increasingly calling for such a change since the president's debate performance. Now, hold up, stop the presses, slow your roll, stop the train. Now, as I recall, it was us. It was the Republicans. We were the ones that were vehemently pointing out that Joe Biden was not all there, that he was in cognitive decline. Day after day, press conference after press conference, speech after speech, teleprompter read after teleprompter read, whether it was planned or prescripted or impromptu, Biden bombed continuously and predictably, obviously and overtly. And it was the lefty media who denied. And now they're trying to take credit. And Kamala and the celebrities and Jill and Hunter, etc., were all surrounding him and covering it all up and lying to the American people about his actual condition. Now, according to Donald Trump's post on his social media site, Truth Social, Fox News debate would take place on September 4th at a to-be-determined location in Pennsylvania. Oh, this is so brilliant. This is so smart of this man. One of the most consequential battleground states, as you know. The network's anchors, Brett Baer. Brett Baer. It just popped in my head. Okay. Brett Baer and Martha McCallum would moderate. Okay. Trump understands to make the debate memorable and significant. He's smart. He thinks about these things. He's running to win. Kamala is running to lie and manipulate the American people. The only way the Democrats get in is two ways: lie and cheat, fabricate and steal. Trump said on social media that the Fox News debate would have a live audience. I love that. Getting that live feedback, understanding how the people are responding, and making sure that live people are actually hearing about Kamala's past, her support and advocacy for Joe Biden's terrible policies, which have rendered us all poorer and less safe, okay, and with an uncertain future. The previous debate between him and Joe Biden was hosted by CNN in an empty venue, okay? And that was fine. It went, I have no complaints about it, okay? It worked then. Though both campaigns agreed to the format of the first debate, Donald Trump has bemoaned the lack of a crowd. I don't blame him one bit. Get in front of the people, okay? It's the people that need to vote them in. Get in front of the people. The people deserve to see both candidates answering the tough questions. Trump added that the rules would be similar to the CNN debate, though he did not specify which rules. Now, the candidates' microphones in the June debate were muted when it was not their turn to speak to prevent interruptions. I'm totally in agreement with that. I don't think there's a whole lot of people that object because we were able to actually hear some answers, right? Trump also said that he was totally prepared to accept Kamala Harris as the Democrats' new candidate. Why wouldn't he? Bring it, okay? When you're confident and you know how you know that you have a fantastic previous record, okay, and that you're doing this, you're running because you truly love this country, you truly love the people of this country, you truly love this country's history, and you want to see it in a secure future and understand that if America fails, the globe fails. I don't care who you put up. Since her campaign suddenly took shape after Joe Biden dropped out of the race about 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump has characterized her ascendancy as a coup. Now, this is New York Times writing this, by the way, within the Democratic Party. Think about this. This is the party that claims to be the one to uphold and defend democracy. Literally snatched the run out of Joe Biden's hands. In his debate announcement, the former president talked about the shakeup. And this is what he quote: "I spent hundreds of millions of dollars, time and effort fighting Joe. And when I won the debate, they threw a new candidate in the ring," Trump said on his social media, Truth Social, adding that he hoped to tie Harris to Joe Biden's policies, as he should, since she was such a strong advocate for Build Back Better. And while she was busy avoiding the border, she was more comfortable appearing and giving speeches consisting of word salads and giggling, okay? saying nothing except when she was advocating for the Biden-Harris policies. Now, keep in mind that the September 4th debate is close to the start of some states' early voting windows, and long after Harris has clinched the nomination from her party. This is all strategic on Donald Trump's point. I love it. The Democratic National Committee said on Friday that she had already won enough delegates in a virtual roll call vote to secure the party's nomination. And we all know that. We all know what happened, right? Joe Biden's garbled responses, supercharged concerns among his Democratic colleagues about his age and his health, as well as his ability to beat Donald Trump in the general election. And of course, after several weeks of declining poll numbers and mounting pressure from key allies, Joe Biden announced on July 21st that he would withdraw from the race. We all remember this. After Joe Biden dropped out, Kamala Harris said she would be willing to debate in Biden's place. At her rally in Atlanta, she said this past weekend: "Well, Donald Trump, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage, because as the saying goes, if you got something to say it to my face." Is that supposed to be a challenge? Mind you, let me remind you too that I saw a clipping of it. And there's something about Hillary and AOC and Kamala that when they go in front of Black people, they switch their dialect and they go into this Ebonics, this Southern dialect that is just so very condescending. These are the things that you should point out to Black people. I am going to a family reunion this end of this weekend. I can't wait to remind them and point out to those who are not politically savvy, who don't pay a whole lot of attention, some of these things. But for those that were just extremely cocky about putting Joe Biden and Kamala in office, I'm going to ask them how it's been for the last 3.5 years for them. But I digress. Kamala Harris, be careful what you ask for, sweetheart. Here's the savage truth of this debate situation. Kamala Harris and her lack of any achievements or effective leadership in her role as VP, her record does not stand up well to scrutiny, and a debate will undoubtedly highlight those deficiencies. Savage truth is, even though Dems want to memory hole and distance her from them, Kamala Harris is absolutely associated with the policies and administration of Joe Biden. It was their team's policies, the American people, and she spent the last 3.5 years touting those policies and applauding them. For example, the economic concerns, border security problems, international relations challenges, just to name a few. Trump's debate style is indeed a factor. Donald Trump is known for his aggressive, unconventional debate style. Harris could struggle against Trump's direct and confrontational approach, which could make her appear unprepared or unable to effectively counter his points. Now, there are a lot of people who are worried that if Trump does Trump, that it'll turn away, the suburban women and whatnot. I think in this point, he's just got to show himself to be tough. I think he showed great restraint when he debated Joe. So I know that he has that ability. Now, Trump liked the idea of muting the mics when the other isn't speaking. He liked that idea. And I think he showed that he can and will abide by that format. Here's another factor: polling and popularity. Republicans might assert that Kamala Harris has lower approval ratings compared to Donald Trump among certain voter demographics. That's been proven. Entering a debate with Trump could potentially damage her image further if she is unable to effectively challenge him. And she is unable, okay? And here's something to be considered that the Harris team can exercise because of their overconfidence, basically putting their foot in their mouths. Strategic avoidance. It could be argued that avoiding a debate might be a more strategic move by Harris. By not engaging directly, she could avoid giving Trump a platform to attack her and the Biden administration, instead focusing on her own messaging and policy priorities without the distractions of a contentious debate. The bottom line is that the people deserve a debate between the two presumptive presidential candidates. It's going to happen. Just not sure on the date, but it needs to happen for the American people. It will be contentious, without a doubt. But the bottom line is Trump has a record of success he can boast and remind the American people of. Harris has to answer for the last 3.5 years, let alone her record as DA and AG in California, and her overall even further left stances on all issues Americans have grown fed up of. She won't be able to giggle or word salad her way out of these tough questions, as they will be direct, they will be concise, they will be specific, and redirected if she tried to laugh her way out of any answer. You see, Kamala Harris can't hold a press conference or answer reporters' questions. She can't explain why their record is, by every measure, a colossal failure with zero success. She can't go into Michigan and explain how she's going to rescue the auto industry. Nor can she go into Pittsburgh to explain how she's going to save the steel industry. Her stance to cease fracking and then backtracking on that very stance. And we certainly know she can't reassure a single world leader of her competence and understanding of geopolitical affairs. Now, she had one recent significant meeting with foreign leader Netanyahu, and it was so bad that immediately after it, he ended up having his people go out and start leaking about how terrible she was. And then he returned home to order the obliteration of the leader of Hamas, allegedly. Okay. The Democrat Party and their delusional supporters are acting as though we're voting for miscongeniality or something here in the United States. And as cleverly stated by Laura Ingraham, the idea that Kamala is going to be responsible for the lives of hundreds of millions of Americans or a commander-in-chief of hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops is beyond comprehension, and I agree. It's scary, it's ridiculous, it's frightening, and it's foolish. She will make none of the big decisions. Savage truth is, she's even worse than Joe Biden because she's never really been vetted and she has no experience, other than being promoted because of her affiliations and the relationship she's milked for clout and promotion to her political climb up the political ladder. Now, she's never really been vetted. She's been pushed along in her career, not for talent or merit, but because of her connections and established relationships. Well, you can fake it for a while, but the truth is always going to come out. And here's the savage truth. Harris is nowhere close to being as politically adept as Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden even, let alone in the same yet undeserved stratosphere as Barack Obama, because the next 4 years for the American people won't be a laughing matter. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And remember, as always, be bold, be strong, be faithful, be true. Till next time, I'm Cicely.
The Savage Truth with Cicely Davis is a production of Front Page Magazine and the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Reproduction of this podcast without express written consent is prohibited.